BehindTheGloves.com here with retired middleweight contender, actually champion, correct? Middleweight champion, Andy Lee. Andy, talk to us about the middleweight division and how hot it is right now. Obviously, we saw the Canelo-Golovkin rematch. Canelo's about to fight Rocky Fielding at 160, 168, I believe. Triple G might stay at middleweight, might go up. But then we have, you know, Jermall Charlo right there at 160 coming up, being Gennadi's mandatory and everything. Just talk to us about how hot the middleweight division is right now.
Yeah, don't forget Danny Jacobs.
Danny Jacobs as well. We have Boo Boo Andrade, who actually won the vacant title due to what happened with Billy Joe Saunders. We'll get into that in a second as well, but talk to us about how hot the middleweight division is right now.
It's as good as it's ever been. It's definitely Canelo beating that was kind of the peak, Canelo Golovkin. And it's going to take a little bit more to get that excitement again. But the best fight out there, and the biggest fight, I would say, would be Danny Jacobs versus Canelo. Jacobs has the height, the power, the athleticism, the speed, and the style. I think to trouble Canelo, giving him a lot of trouble.
What about Boo Boo Andrade? You know, Demetrius. Demetrius has the same thing. He's a little bit more probably slimmer and probably a little bit more sleeker than Danny Jacobs at that point in time. He does have height as well. He has reach, fast hands.
And he's more activity, I think, and I think he's a good fighter. He stands toe to toe with those guys, but in terms of stature in the division, Jacobs versus Canelo is the biggest fight because both guys both shared the ring with Canelo, with Golovkin. Both were very close fights. All of them were very close fights, and they have their names. They were the recognised names in the division. Billy Joe Saunders is the other one. If he gets back, he could possibly beat them all if he can get back to where he once was. He needs to get the belt back, because without the belt, people are going to say, why should we fight him? He's got nothing to offer us. He's in England. He doesn't, you know. So he's got to get back, get his belt, get back fighting.
Do you think he can get back? Because there's been somewhat of a stigma with Billy Joe Saunders. I believe it's now 3 or 4 fights now that have actually been canceled due to something on the Billy Joe Saunders side. You know, either injuries or the thing with Demetrius Andrade right now with the nasal spray and everything. Do you think Billy Joe Saunders at this stage in his career can actually get back without any major setbacks?
Yeah, it's been a feature, and even for our fight, myself and Billy Joe, it was rescheduled 3 times. One being me, and the other one being him. But he always, even though these fights get rescheduled and stuff, he always seems to come out well out of it. He has some funny way of working out for his favour. And this could be a blessing in disguise for him, that he can get the rematch with Andrade and get the belt, and he'd have a good rest. You know, but he needs to get active again. He needs to get busy again. Let's see, he's been champion. I think he needs big fights. He needs to fight Canelo or Jacobs to get motivated like he needs, you know. I don't think those fights with anybody else motivates him too much.
Let me ask you this, because it's a pretty big debate in boxing out there. The atmosphere and what we here in America see when we watch fights from the UK, the atmosphere, the almost party-like atmosphere that there is there, concert-like atmosphere. How come the UK has that and we cannot here in America reproduce that? We can't actually get that type of attention. The closest thing I've seen probably is at a Canelo fight with the Mexican crowd and the Mexican music blasting and all the Latinos, all the Hispanic people just singing with the song. That's probably the closest I've ever seen it, but it's not on almost every event like we do see in the UK.
Well, a number of things. In England there's a soccer culture, where people chant songs. So they're going to translate that to the boxing. Also in England, it's driven by the TV networks. You have Sky TV, which is nearly in every household, and it's the only real sports channel. And you have Box Nation, which is a boxing Pacific channel. And those guys do a great job of advertising the fights. And the fights in England are like an event that everybody wants to be at. It's just not like a fight. Over here you have to be either a fight fan or follow a certain guy to go to a fight. But in England they've kind of got this culture of they want to be at the fights. What is it? Saturday night, what are we doing? Let's go to the fights. Everyone wants to be there. So they book their tickets now. And it's rare that there's not a fight in England that's not a sellout. So they promote them well across the TV. Because you'll have like, if you're fighting on Sky Sports, those guys will be featured in the Sky Sports soccer games, which have huge viewing figures. And they'll be on the Sky Sports News. So they're across all the platforms. And there's an awareness of who the boxers are, and they're in the mainstream.
With that said, do you think it's actually pretty smart of how Fox has gone about with Earl Spence versus Mikey Garcia? Fox is pretty much like that for us here in America. It's a network television. They promote all the Sunday football games, American football, of course. And Mikey Garcia and Earl will be fighting in Dallas. Ever since they announced that fight, Earl Spence has been to Dallas Cowboys Stadium on Fox, and they have announced the fight and promoted it via that way.
That's what they have to do. They have to do that. They have to make the public aware who these guys are. Not just in the ring, but outside the ring. Show some personality. It's the only way. Sell the fight and the fighter.
Now let's talk about more middleweight division stuff going on. Again, Canelo is moving up to 168. Everybody thinks it's just a one-off shot, just wants a championship at 168, and he's fighting Rocky Fielding. Your thoughts on that fight?
Canelo's the favorite, you would say. Has the pedigree, he's a real champion. But Wilder has the size, naturally bigger man. I've sparred Fielding a lot, and he has the big punch. He has a good punch, strong right hand. And because he has the extra size, he'll hang in there. He'll hang in there, and he'll land on Canelo. Canelo's shown that he's not defensively, he can be hit. But not for all intents and purposes, Canelo should win. That's what I think about the fight.
Talk to us about you. You know, you retired. What's the life of a retired boxer? You know, we've seen people like Ricky Hatton go into training. We've seen others just, you know, kind of fade away and then come up here and there, show up. What's your life like? What's your life as a retired boxer like?
My life is pretty good. I do a lot of work in Ireland on radio. I work for a sports show called Off the Ball, and has a huge listenership. I work in there about once a week, and I'm here working for the BBC. I do some TV commentary, and that's it. I don't have to do anything else. Thankfully, I don't have to work like a 9 to 5. I have a baby girl, and she keeps me busy, and that's it. Yeah, I'm pretty content.
With us talking earlier about how hot the middleweight division is and how it is, at any point in time you thought to yourself, man, I want to fight one of these guys, or just come out of retirement for a fight?
I don't know. I'm done. When you know, you know. What am I chasing? I was world champion. I did well enough that I've got a little nest egg for a few years. So what am I chasing? Why would I want to fight? I don't hate these guys. I don't want to fight them. It was always, for me, it was always about boxing, being the best in the ring and the business. That was it. So, no, I'm walking away quite happy and satisfied with what I did in the ring, and the experiences I had, the life I had, all those years being with Emmanuel Stewart, and then training with Adam Booth, becoming great friends with him, being managed by him. Lou DiBella guided my career for the most part. I had wonderful experiences, and there's no point chasing that. That was what it was, and now it's over.
You know, the thing with some fighters is, for example, I know it's blasphemy for some people to say this, but somebody like Roy Jones Jr. stayed in the ring a little bit longer than he should have. You know, still has some skill there, but just not top-notch skill there. When did you know? When did you come to the realization of, you know what, that's it, it's done?
It wasn't that I couldn't, just because it wasn't that I couldn't do it.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying more like,
no, but that was the realization that I didn't want to. You know, I lost to Billy Joe Saunders at the end of 2015. I fought that fight. Well, I didn't know at the time, but a detached retina. It happened in training. But when the medicals were already done, so I passed the medical. And then I had to take time out because I had the operation. Then I fought in the 17 Madison Square Garden, beat Keandre Leatherwood. Then I had a baby girl. Then I took time out because she was born. And with all that time out of the ring and having a daughter, there was way more to lose than to gain by going back in the ring. There were offers for fights, but in this game you have to really want it. It has to be inside, you have to have the desire. And it just wasn't there, so that's what I knew. Yeah, that's what I knew.
Was there any fight in your career that you want to have back? Like you would want to redo it again? Like there's obviously the Peter Quillen fight you guys drew, even though it was a really good fight.
I walk away from that, not the Quillen fight. I walk away with that. We left it all in the ring, and a draw was a great result for both of us. It shouldn't have been a winner or loser in that fight because we put it all on the line. But I would obviously love to do Fuhrer again. First fight. Chavez, would love to do that again, and Billy Joe Saunders. And if things like, you know, there's no point in just let those things go now. You know, what's the point? I don't wish any of them bad will, and I'd support them if they're fighting.
Anything you guys say to the fans that you made over here in the States? Obviously, you're one of the rare fighters from across the pond that actually have a backing in both.
Yeah, I had a great time here. Yeah. You know, a great time. I never got to fight in LA, even though I spent a lot of time out here. The first place I came to when came to be with Emmanuel Stewart was here. We trained in Venice with Vitaly Klitschko, who was getting ready for Hasim Rahman. And I had great experiences all over America. Met loads of great people. And I love America, and I say thank you for everyone who supported me, and that's it.
Thank you for your time, Andy. Always a pleasure.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this icon right here and hit the bell button so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And we also have a free app available on iTunes and Google Play, so make sure you go and download that. Bye Fight fans.